The message came at 2:11 a.m., glowing on the ceiling before I even touched the phone. "Oops, sweetie, looks like there's no room left for you at the resort." A smiley face. A careless little heart. I stared at it while the ceiling fan turned slow circles above me, chopping the silence into pieces. In the other room, my wife slept like nothing in the world had shifted on its axis. Like she hadn't just erased me with one sentence. No room. For me. The man who paid for every ticket, every suite, every flight, every candlelit dinner that would soon be lit without my shadow at the table. My chest didn't tighten, my hands didn't shake. That should have scared me more than if they had. I typed one word back. Noted. Then I rolled onto my side and listened to her breathing until morning came. It wasn't the exclusion that hurt first, it was how cleanly it was done. Her mother's birthday trip had been my idea. A gesture, an offering, something to prove I was still worth loving in a marriage that had been quietly starving for years. I booked the resort myself. Oceanfront rooms, private villas, a year's worth of savings folded neatly into digital confirmations and polite emails that all said the same thing: paid in full. For weeks she moved through the house differently, lighter, distracted. Her phone never left her hand. Smiles bloomed at nothing. When I asked who she was texting, she'd laugh too easily and say, "Family, always family." The guest list had grown. My name had shrunk. She told me about the mix-up at dinner. Fork paused mid-air, eyes avoiding mine, a practiced look of regret already rehearsed in the mirror. "I swear, I didn't even notice your name was missing until it was too late." Too late. Such a simple little phrase to bury a man alive. I nodded, swallowed my food, paid the bill, walked her to the car. Inside, something old and feral lifted its head. I didn't accuse her, I didn't beg, I didn't argue, because betrayal that easy is never a mistake. It's a decision. The investigation began the next morning, quiet as snowfall. I requested detailed invoices from the resort, compared room assignments, cross-checked names. One guest, added after I finalized payment, occupied the last available villa, a name I didn't recognize. I pulled phone records next, long calls in the early mornings, late at night, a number that appeared like a heartbeat through months of data. I called it once from a work line and hung up before it rang twice. The voicemail greeting was a man's voice, calm, confident, intimate in a way that made my teeth ache. Still, I smiled at home, I kissed her goodbye, I asked about her mother, I packed her suitcase for the trip she would take without me. Folded her dresses with a care so tender it bordered on cruel. At night, when she slept, I watched the rise and fall of her back and wondered how long she'd been unreachable to me. A week before departure, I followed her. Just once. She met him in a hotel bar not far from our house. They didn't look like conspirators. They looked like people who had stopped hiding. His hand found the small of her back with casual ownership. She leaned into him like she'd been cold all her life and only just found warmth. I stood across the street and memorized the way she laughed for him. It sounded different. The confirmation arrived 3 days later. The resort emailed me the final manifest. All guests, all rooms, all billing notes. One line was flagged as special request. The man's suite, my wife's suite, had been upgraded using my loyalty points. In the margin, the resort manager had politely clarified the relationship status for room pairing, couple. I printed the page, folded it once, slid it into my jacket pocket. That evening, as she practiced packing again, I asked gently, "Do you love him?" She froze. The zipper on her suitcase hung open like a caught breath. "I don't know what you're talking about." I laid the paper on the bed between us. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then something inside her collapsed all at once. Her face crumpled, not with guilt, with relief. "I was going to tell you," she whispered, like that made it better. After the trip I paid for." I nodded. "Have a nice time," I said. They left without me at dawn. The house felt larger immediately, like it had been waiting for my absence. I transferred every remaining cent from our shared accounts into the account I'd opened months earlier, closed the rest, resigned from my job, sold the house to a buyer who didn't ask questions. By the time she came back, I no longer existed where she expected me to be. For 11 months, I was an outline, a legal ghost. I watched from a distance as her panic bloomed publicly. Missed calls, police reports, tearful interviews that painted her as a woman abandoned by a mystery. The man left her when the money ran out. Poetic, how love behaves when it's forced to pay rent. On the 1-year anniversary of her mother's birthday, I sent one final delivery, a framed copy of the resort manifest. My single word printed beneath it in careful type. Noted. I don't hate her anymore. Hate requires investment. What remains is quieter than anger, sharper than forgiveness. A space inside me that no longer reaches for what once tried to erase it. She lost her marriage, her reputation, her comfort, her future. I lost the person I thought I was. We were not equally wounded, but only one of us is free. And that was the point all along.